Welcome to New Mexico Restaurants Now, where we get you the inside scoop on the food scene across New Mexico. This episode is brought to you by NMRA's Chef Table sponsors. These businesses provide the most generous level of support to help keep our restaurants protected, informed, and successful. So thank you to Benny Keith Foods, the Food Industry Self-Insurance Fund, Heartland Payment Systems, Shamrock Foods, Cisco New Mexico, and U.S. Foods. We wouldn't be here without you. I'm Carol White, the CEO of the New Mexico Restaurant Association, and our guest today is Yashoda Naidoo of Annapurna in Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Welcome, Yashoda. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Carol.
So I want to get started. Maybe let's get started with how you got started. How did you get into the restaurant business?
You might have read, Carol, I'm a CPA by profession. That was my vocation in life. And my parents, who are now late, would have hoped that I would have stayed in that profession. In the year 2000, I decided that I wanted to do something that made a difference on the planet with everything from, green technology to what we put into our bodies. So I wanted to create a vegetarian restaurant. And at the time in New Mexico, there weren't any vegetarian restaurants or vegan restaurants to speak of. And so I went from, adding columns of figures to counting muffins and measuring with recipes. And that's how I got into the restaurant business. And I started back in January of 2002. And I did not expect to come almost 20 years. January next year coming up, we will be 20. Annapurna's will be 20. And in 20 years, we're at 4 locations. And we just launched Rush of Prana, which is natural, vegan, heavenly sips and bites. We launched Rush of Prana at Sawmill Market, which is New Mexico's first food hall. And we were a little bit delayed due to COVID. We had started talks in January of 2020, and then Sawmill Market opened in March and only had to close down a week later due to COVID. So that impacted, and finally we got open of April of this year, 2021, and it's been going great.
Oh, fabulous. Well, I did not know you were involved in that. I'm excited. I'll have to go try that. And so, a CPA, right? Wow, that's a big change. And you're in the middle of it. You actually do some of the cooking, and tell me more about that.
Well, actually, I started out the restaurant. I was the master chef. I still am the master chef, and I'm the person behind recipe development, etc. However, I have had to progress by bringing in staff and having them trained. With having 4 locations, I couldn't be in all 4 at the same time. So we did a great job on training, because this is very specialized recipes, very specialized ingredients. And so today, I actually moved to doing the work of a real CEO, and that is strategy. However, 2020 and the pandemic brought me back into the kitchen with everything from washing dishes, chopping vegetables, cooking on the line, to working up front as a server, as a cashier, as a barista. And that's what I'm doing today in all 3 of my locations, because as you might know, our location on 4th Street in the North Valley, we have not been able to open up due to the labor situation as it is right now. We do not have staff that can enable us to open up that location. And we're getting a lot of inquiries. We've got actually a lot of ticked off customers that are, when are you opening? Is it coming back? Yes, please be patient. It is. We are trying really hard to get it open. And it's a situation that is beyond our control. And I have not seen the restaurant industry in 20 years. I have not seen the labor market, present itself like it is right now.
No, it's a problem. And it's not just, industry-wide in New Mexico, it's industry-wide and beyond our industry. I mean, I was talking to some bankers the other day, and they can't find folks either. Nobody wants to work, and it's a big problem right now. So, we're doing some things to fix it, and I need to talk to you offline because I don't want to take up your time around your restaurants. But there are some things that may help the industry, and we'll be announcing it soon. But I'll give you the scoop. I'll give you the inside
thank you
scoop.
for everything that you do at the association, and you have done in the past almost 2 years now for the restaurant industry. I often think, how would we have gotten through if we did not, for example, belong to an association?
Well, I appreciate that. And it's interesting to me because I came to the association in July of 2002. So your restaurants are just a little bit older than I am since I've been here. So, we've been doing this for 20 years. We were much more vocal and visual last year. You saw us a lot.
Oh, you almost had to be. You
Yeah.
had to be.
Yeah, we definitely did. Well, let's talk about your food because I've been to your restaurants and they're absolutely wonderful. I mean, and just so you know, we have kids that are vegan vegetarians, and when they come to town, we go to your restaurant.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And
It's
I
amazing
should
how
go
many
more
parents
often.
Tell me that. There are many parents that say that my son or daughter is a vegan, and we've been to your restaurant. It's always nice to hear that. Ever so pleasant to hear that.
Yes.
That the younger generation are taking off in that direction.
Well, most definitely. And then you do Ayurvedic. Let's talk about that. What is that? Tell me about some of the dishes and just tell me about the food.
Ayurveda is a science out of India, a medical science out of India. That's like more than 5,000 years old. And I was raised in the Ayurvedic tradition, so no meat, fish, or eggs. Actually, the food is at Annapurna is all based on Ayurvedic principles. Now, Ayurveda as a science is pretty complex, but what we do here at Annapurna's is make sure that we're taking into account, one body, 3 doshas. Doshas are movements or forces in your body. And we take into account 4 seasons, 5 elements, the 6 tastes, and 9 planets. For example, on a Wednesday, we're cooking everything that surrounds and includes colors that are green. And we include, lettuces and cucumbers and zucchini and those kind of vegetables. Come Thursday, everything is yellow for Jupiter. So on Thursday, we would include yellow squashes in our dishes. We would include turmeric to make the rice yellow. It's actually a very interesting, fascinating science because the planets actually do affect what you put into your body, and it does affect your health. And it's really a very, very interesting way of eating and maintaining health. We have a lot of fun with it, even though the majority of our customers don't understand, the majority of our customers don't understand our philosophy, but they're here because the food is tasty and it's healthy. So we love what we do here at Annapurna, and we're only excited. And we are kind of a little bit sad that we had to close one of our locations for that duration of time, but for sure it will be back, because we want to bring Ayurvedic cuisine to everybody. Personally, I believe that everybody should avail themselves of healthy food. That is, food is what fuels is. I mean, you wouldn't put, if your car takes 91 in gas, you wouldn't put 86 in it. So here at Annapurna, we would like to put the right amounts of rare trace minerals, vitamins, and protein into people's bodies.
Nice. So what's your customer's favorite dish?
Our customers, I think, love our South Indian sampler. It is a South Indian sampler is made up of a few offerings that are typically South Indian, such as a masala dosa, a soup called sambar, which is slightly spicy. It has tamarind and chili in it. It's also made up of a relish kind of called coconut chutney. It's also includes vadais, which are very similar to falafel, but they're not quite falafel. Our second favorite dish is actually the kitchari, which is made up of rice and yellow split mung beans and veggies. We cannot keep enough of that in our kitchens on any particular day. I was working the restaurant last night in Santa Fe, and we ran out of kitchari by 7 o'clock, and we close at 8 o'clock these days. And we had a few ticked off customers. So this morning I had to call the chef when he came in and reminded him, hey, can you make sure that you make extra kitchari today? It's such a neutral food, but such a healthy food. And I think that Annapurna has made that specific dish really famous here in New Mexico. We find a lot of people come in and tell us that it's hangover food. It's very similar to having like a green chili stew after a weekend hangover or after a Saturday night hangover. So on Sunday mornings for brunch at Annapurna, we don't have mimosas, and I wish we had mimosas. I love mimosas, but I need to talk to you about speeding up a alcohol license. But people come in on Sunday mornings and they're having a bowl of kitchari. It warms my heart to see that.
That's wonderful. That's and you know what? You just got yourself a new crowd, right?
Right, exactly. And I'm glad that kitchari is now way up there with the green chili stew.
That's right. Yes, or pozole, right? That's
right.
Yeah. Well, very good. So do you incorporate any of the New Mexico chilies in your
absolutely
menu? I would think
so
you
we
did.
have a breakfast burrito, and because we're vegan, the breakfast burrito has tofu, and it has potatoes and green chili, and we do actually make a vegan green chili, and we make a vegan red chili, and Bueno Chili is our supplier, so we're bearing New Mexico true in that way. And for me personally, I didn't ever think that that would be an item on my menu that would attract so much attention. And I think it's because the chili has been vegan from day one. So it gives customers that assurance. I love green chili. I've learned to love green chili because I've lived in New Mexico 26 years now. But for the longest time, I had to be careful where I ate green chili because some green chili was not exactly vegetarian or vegan for that matter. So we do use green chili in our quesadillas. We use green chili on our burritos. We have a brunch burrito, a breakfast burrito. And then, of course, we have green chili in our specials. For example, our location at UNM on the corner of Silver and Yale, they're running a green chili mac and cheese at the moment as our green plate special.
Oh, that's
so
good.
Yes, yeah. We cannot go without getting our delivery of green chili on a weekly basis. We get it from Shamrock, but it comes from Buena.
Very good. And we actually did an interview with Bueno Foods because they are so integral to what we do in the restaurant industry, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jackie Barker has done a great job. Just not with just the green and red chili, but it is so many items. They are now making a vegan tamale. And I had a rep from Buena Foods talk to us about carrying a vegan tamale, and we're very excited to start offering it on our menus.
Very interesting. Yeah, because tamales are usually made with lard. So
absolutely.
I would love that.
There's everything in the way of cuisine can be made. A vegan version can be made.
Well, and so are you also all gluten-free or just some of your food is gluten-free?
We're, I would say 99% gluten-free. And the same thing with vegan. What doesn't make us 100% vegan restaurant is the fact that we do make the authentic dairy chai. But today, we also have oat milk chai and we have soy milk chai. So, my goal is eventually that we will phase out the dairy, because I really do have very strong feelings about the dairy industry in this country. So I would like to eventually take the dairy out. And in the way of cheese, we do have cheeses that are made from milk, but they're very specialized in that they do not contain rennet. And then, of course, we do have completely vegan cheeses as well.
Yeah, our kids did some a cheese dish that was all like cashews and not really cheese, and it was fabulous. It was
yes.
So
amazing. If you try some of the vegan cheeses in the market today, it is amazing. They taste almost like the real thing. So I'm glad for that we can cater to everybody's palate these days.
Yes. So let's talk about your locations, because you have quite a few locations, and what I need from you is where your location is generally, and then let's get a little bit specific about each location so that people can find you if they're listening to this podcast.
Our first location, or what we call our flagship location, is at Silver and Yale in the UNM area, very close to UNM. We've been there now almost 17 years. Our second location opened in 2005 in Santa Fe, and we had a fire in 2010, and we still remained in the market, and we opened up at a different location, St. Michael's Drive, 1620 St. Michael's Drive in Santa Fe. And our third location that we opened is in 4th Street, 5939 4th Street, the old Dion's building on 4th Street, on the west side of 4th Street. When Dion's moved across to the Applebee's building, then we purchased the old Dion's building, and we will be eternally grateful to the folks at Dion's, Bill Scott, John Patton, for writing us a real estate contract, and for me personally enabling me to have my first piece of real estate in the restaurant industry. And that happened 10 years into Annapurna being in business. So 2012 was when we purchased that building. So We went on to open up a location at the Promenade Shopping Center, Eubank in Spain. We opened that location April of 2016. And that has worked out great for us, for the folks in the far Northeast Heights. And we do have plans to expand our new concept, Rush of Prana. And we have plans to add food to that menu, because right now at the Sawmill Market, we're only serving juices, made to order juices, smoothies, and acai bowls. But the first Rush of Prana that will open up outside of Sawmill will actually have an extended menu and hopefully a beer and wine license. And we do plan to have a beer and wine license at the Annapurnas. I absolutely love mimosas. I wish I could have a mimosa every day. But I do have to go to work and focus, and I work in the kitchen. So maybe Yashoda, take that a little bit easy. Maybe after work, have your brunch at 3 o'clock. So I really would like, with the alcohol laws somewhat changing in New Mexico, we plan to bring beer and wine to all of our locations pretty soon.
Oh, that's very exciting. I'm so glad that's working out for you. We we worked very hard on that law, and I think we got a good, fair law, and
Absolutely.
we'll have to see. But it's exciting to me to hear that you're going to expand that into your restaurants, and just to know that for one thing, it's another place where you can make a little bit of money, and we really want you to stay in business. So that's absolutely wonderful. And I know that it's a bit of a problem right now, at the end of, and I'm hoping that we're at the end of COVID, right? So,
I'm hoping so.
we're still struggling getting employees, but I have light at the end of the tunnel, right? I've been saying that for 6 months.
To employees in the restaurant industry, get vaccinated, please.
Well, and just to those that are showing up every day, we bless them and thank them, because there are people who are not showing up to work, and unfortunately, they're having to do a lot of extra work because of that. So, let's keep the ones that are showing up, and let's try to get some more into the industry.
Well, it is interesting, Carol, that in the year of the pandemic, 2020 and 2021 is the year that I have actually given out the most financially in bonuses. I've absolutely awarded and rewarded my staff that have stuck with us, or my staff that have come back. And when the pandemic started and we had to furlough staff, we actually bought groceries on a weekly basis. And being a vegetarian and a strict vegetarian and being raised in that lifestyle, I actually did go to the extent of I called up Benny Keith, Lisa Gonzalez at Benny Keith, and I said, hey, can you give me a deal on chicken and beans and rice? Because that is the basis of what my staff actually eat. And I would like to give them a package every week until I can bring them back into our kitchens. And we did that last year. And I went to the extent of storing the chicken in my warehouse. And, I've had to bend the rules because we had to take care of our people.
Yeah. Well, that is, that's so heartening for me to hear. I have told, as many people as I could about the generosity of this industry in the middle of the pandemic. And, that's the basis. We take care of the people that work with us, and they work side by side with us. The most devastating thing I think last year was having to let people go that you didn't have any income to pay them, and you had to let them go just so that they could get unemployment or whatever. And then you turn around and help them out with the food that they needed. So thank you for that. And I thank you because, people don't understand how generous we are in this industry, and they need to.
Absolutely. And thank you at the Restaurant Association for the fund that you put together to help so many. I sent some of my employees your way. And I'm so glad that so many employees here in New Mexico were able to partake of that.
Well, thank you for mentioning that. Yes, we had a fund and we raised over $100,000. And all of it went to, people and in the industry that had lost their jobs. And so we were happy to give, we gave $250 to $750
Right.
stipends basically, and they didn't have to do anything except work in the industry at one point, and we just flowed the money their way. So I'm glad your employees got to take advantage of that. We are up on time. I'm having so much fun, but I want to get from you. How do people make reservations? What's your preference?
You can order from us online. You can call in an order. We do not take reservations. You're always welcome at Annapurna. We'll find you a space. We'll find you a table. We can give you something to go. If you walked in a minute before 8 o'clock, we will make you food and you can take it to go, even though we are closing. It has been challenging working with, limited staff, and towards closing time, we have people coming in. This week has been interesting. We have gone out on a limb because it's Balloon Fiesta and we have visitors from out of state, and people will come in at 8 o'clock because they don't know that we close at 8 o'clock, but we have served. Last night was a crazy busy night in Santa Fe, and I worked at the counter last night, and we had visitors from out of state here for the Balloon Fiesta enjoying and telling us how wonderful the food is. And all over New Mexico, all of the restaurants with green chili and all of the different New Mexico specialties. So a very big thank you that we have New Mexico and the Balloon Fiesta that was able to take off this year.
I'm so excited. The Balloon Fiesta is here. I'm actually going tomorrow. So and I don't usually go, as an Albuquerquean, you kind of curse the traffic, but as a restaurateur, it's like, this is the one time a year we get to make a lot of money and save it up for the winter, because it's not quite so busy during the winter.
And we get to showcase what New Mexico is about. There are people that come in here and tell me, we had no idea that there was a chai house in New Mexico. Yes, there is a chai, authentic chai, like it is in India, right here in New Mexico.
Well, that's so fun. And so what is your website?
Our website is worldvegetariancafe.com.
Perfect. So that's where we'll send folks. And is there anything else you want to tell folks?
Yes, we're here almost 20 years, and not even the pandemic is going to scare us. And we look forward to serving you. We look forward to having full capacity really soon here, and hopefully, herd immunity, and it brings back people, whether you're on the patio or whether you're in our dining rooms. We are waiting to serve you and welcome you back.
Well, thank you so much, Yashoda. And thank you to our generous sponsors, U.S. Foods, Cisco, New Mexico, Shamrock Foods, Heartland Payment Systems, the Food Industry Self-Insurance Fund, and Benny Keith Foods for their annual sponsorship of NMRA and its programs. Visit nmrestaurants.org to learn more about our chef table sponsors and the association. Thanks for tuning in to New Mexico Restaurants Now. You can watch this and other episodes on the New Mexico Restaurants Now YouTube channel, and you could subscribe to the audio podcast at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Thanks for being here.